Welcome back to We Connect, continuing that discussion that I'm having here with Dr. Bhaskaran Pillai. Dr. Pillai, you have over the past few years been concentrating much of your time back here in India. Is this a conscious decision? Why are you doing this?
Well, I want to do something to India, okay, because I've been using this knowledge that I have gained in India
Yes.
and for the benefit of the Westerners. I just want to do something to India. That's why I just have come here, and I want to fund a lot of research through my foundation.
Right. What would be the specific areas that you would look at in your research program?
How these sounds can enhance different parts, the functioning of the different parts of the brain. How can we
Explain that to me, Doctor, please.
See, you know, right now, the right and left cerebrum and the cerebellum, the lower cerebellum, are active, but they give only limited thinking. Okay, we cannot have outrageous thinking. It disallows outrageous thinking. So there are parts of the brain that can be brought into, activity or more functional. So that can give us an unlimited thinking. So there is, we are experiencing a cap in our thinking process. So we want to delimit the thinking process by, through the meditation practices of certain sounds are capable of activating these brain centers so that we can have access to a greater intelligence.
Right. You keep talking about sounds, Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, I need to draw you out.
Yeah.
What's the proof at the end of it? How would you actually say, okay, this has worked, this hasn't worked, I think you've done a good thing here?
Well, there has been a lot of research, about 600 researches done on the use of sounds, and then they have, there are researchers with control groups,
Right.
those who use these sounds and those who don't use the sounds.
What about in India?
In India, we have done only one research at the SRM Medical Schools.
Yes, you mentioned it, yes.
Then I'm going to go and fund different other schools, medical schools, and also other educational institutions
Right.
to pursue research like that.
Right. Are they receptive? Is it only a question of money when you go in with with the kind of things we're talking about here today? Are principals, managements of these institutions actually willing to accept what you're suggesting?
They are more open now.
Are they?
Because I came here 2 years ago and there was a lot of resistance to this kind of research. But now they are open now, because now in the West there are a lot of research that are proving the Vedic model, that it is the mind that matters, because it's the mind that decides the character of particles. So fundamentally what matters is the mind. Because if the mind thinks this is how the particle behaves that way. And if you bring another hypothesis, the particle behaves in a different way.
Right.
So they are thinking now. So the matter has nothing to do at the very fundamental elementary level except your own hypothesis, which is your mind. So through your mind you can change everything. So it boils down to your own thinking process. So if you can have a poverty thinking or a prosperity thinking, and one becomes responsible for that.
Right. I'd like to touch now on astrology per se as it exists. Now, you are successfully combining this with technology. It's not something that we've seen a lot of, have we?
Well, so let me talk about astrology as it is perceived in the West and in India.
Yes.
In India, the Supreme Court approved it as a science.
Yeah.
The University Grants Commission gives grants.
That's right.
And so that there are universities who teach astrology now. But in the West, it is still a pseudoscience. That's why I have started this company, astroway.com, in India, because it is legal in India and is respected in India. And now what I am doing now here is, I have started a research wing, put a professor in charge, and she has hired some PhDs. What we are trying to prove is the relationship between planets and academic performance. So we have collected about, so far, 15,000 cases where we are in the process of analyzing. If a student is not performing in math, what is the reason? What planet causes that defect? And the hypothesis that I have is his fourth house is weak, which is the education house, or the Mercury is weak. If we can enhance the Mercury vibrations within the consciousness of this particular individual, then we can bring up his grade. So first thing, we are going to analyze the data and then see if there is a correlation between academic performance and the planets in the natal chart.
Right.
So I'm convinced, theoretically, and also on the basis of my own research, that there is a connection, which I want to prove with a large amount of data, because I want to go up to 1 lakh data and analyze the data.
Right.
Okay.
I'm drawing you back to the question about astrology. My own association with it is rather limited to opening a newspaper, and around the world people do this all the time to see what the day is going to bring, or what the week's going to bring, or the year is going to bring.
Yeah.
Now, does this make sense to somebody like you? I mean, when I open that paper, should I believe? Should I not believe? Is it something, a figment of somebody's imaginations or a writer's, what is it, doctor? Tell me.
Well, what you see in the newspaper is only a general prediction. Okay, there is a 30 degree in one zodiac sign, and then within the 30 degrees, there will number of people will be born. There are, so they can only give a general prediction. So you want a very accurate prediction, then you may want to go to something like Nadi astrology, the palm leaf astrology, which is really one of the wonders of the world. Okay, we also want to do research. I'm taking some Nadi astrology to the United States to present to a scientific community. I've been invited to give a talk to a number of scientists. So I'm taking them down there to demonstrate how the Nadi astrologer can find out your name, your father's name, mother's name, and what you are doing, and what is your problem, what are the diseases you have in the body. All these things are written up there. Just by looking at the thumb impression, we can get this information. So this proves that this is a Vedic science too, that there is omniscience. Okay, and this omniscient faculty that the rishis once had could know what is happening, what is going to happen in the future, and then they put it all in leaves which were thousands of years old.
Right. So you say it's okay in 2011 to actually be looking at what the stars foretell for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a science. It's literally a science.
Right.
Yeah.
Because some of us can sometimes be rather skeptical about what we actually read and lay not terribly much stress on it.
Well, I wouldn't go by what you read in the newspapers, because they are very general predictions. For example, there is a Maga star. Even if you read by stars, okay, you can go wrong, because people who are born in Maga star can become like rulers, Bharani star rulers. But even Bharani and Maga also can produce beggars too. There are people who are beggars who are born in the star.
Right. Hold on, please, Dr. Pillai, because we'll get right back with you here on We Connect, and there's lots more interesting stuff coming up. So just stay right there with us.